Good morning. Today we're going to talk about making equivalent fractions. And you can make equivalent fractions by either multiplying or dividing. Keep that in mind. By multiplying or dividing. And you have to multiply and divide the numerator by the same number you multiply the denominator by. So the numerator times whatever you multiply the denominator by, or vice versa. Okay? Example, if I do this. And the video I showed yesterday was like this. They showed multiplying like this, sort of a little archway over. You're multiplying by 3 on top, multiplying by 3 on the bottom. 2 times 3 is 6. And 3 times 3 is what? It's 9. Okay? So what we found out is 6/9 is equivalent to 2/3. 6/9 is equivalent to 2/3. It's real simple. Now, I really like to do it a slightly different way. It's virtually the same thing. I like to present it a little bit differently, though. I would rather do it like this and put my 3's right here and then multiply across. To me, it's easier this way. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 3 is, excuse me, I mean equal there. 3 times 3 is 9. Okay? And the reason this is equal to this is because when you multiply by 3 over 3, 3 over 3 is equal to what? 3/3 is 1. Okay? So you're just multiplying this times 1, but you're changing the denominator and the numerator by multiplying by 3, but you're still multiplying the entire fraction by 1. Anytime you multiply a fraction by 1, you get something that's equal, because 5 times 1 is 5, 10 times 1 is 10. You're always going to have something that's equal. Okay? So I'm going to give you some examples this morning. I want you to work these. I'm going to put a problem up, and then I'm going to say pause the video. You work it, and then come back, and we'll solve it. Okay? I want you to find this. Find a fraction that is equivalent to that fraction. Pause. Okay, now that you're back, you could have chosen to multiply by 2, 3, 4, any number. I'm going to just choose 2. You may or may not have chosen that, okay? But you just multiply, again, the numerator and denominator by the same number. If you chose 2, 2 on top, 2 on the bottom. Just like this. If you chose 3, 3 3s. Okay? 4 4, 5 5, 10 10, whatever you chose. And then you multiply across. 4 times 2 is 8, and 5 times 2 is 10. So I've got 8/10. You may have something different. That's fine, as long as you multiply it correctly by a number over itself, whatever number that is. Could be, like I said, 100 over 100 if you wanted to. Now, that's by multiplying. Now, I'm going to give you one where you divide. I'd like you to divide this time, okay? 8/12. 8/12. 8/12. Give me an equivalent fraction for 8/12 by dividing. Go. Okay, now that you're back, did you try this? I could have divided by 2. Did you do that? Okay. I'm going to divide by 4, because that is something you can divide by 2. 4/4 equals, again, 1. So you're really dividing by 1. So you're going to get something that's equal to 8/12, just with a different numerator and denominator, this time smaller. What is 8 divided by 4? Or in other words, how many 4s are in 8? 2. Okay, what's 12 divided by 4? Or how many 4s are in 12? And you can always multiply backwards, because multiplying backwards is the same as dividing forwards. How many 4s make 12? It's 3. All right? And 2/3 would be equivalent fraction for 8/12 by using division this time. Remember, you can multiply or divide either way. Let's try another one. Try this. 5 14/18. Simplify that. Think of something that you can divide by. Let's divide this time. Let's not multiply. Let's not make these any larger, because most of the time you like to take a fraction like this and simplify it, or make it smaller. Make the numerator and denominator smaller. So do that. Pause. Okay, now that you're back, the only number I can think of off the top of my head that you can multiply or you can divide 14 and 18 by is 2. So I'll divide by 2. And when I do, 14 divided by 2 is 7. 18 divided by 2 is 9. And I find out that 7/9 is an equivalent fraction or equal to 14/18. Got it? Okay. Did you get something like that? I think that's really the only thing, the only answer you could have gotten that would have been equal to this by dividing. Now we could multiply. We could do that. We could multiply by, who knows, multiply by 5. Usually you don't want to make the denominator that much bigger, but if I multiplied by 5, I would get something that's still equivalent. I'd get 70/90ths. 70/90ths. Still, that is equivalent to this. It's the same amount, just cut differently. More slices, fewer slices, the same amount in both. All right? So that's what you need to keep in mind. You can get an equivalent fraction to the fraction you're beginning with by dividing or by multiplying. Either way. Right? But you've got to make sure you're dividing and multiplying by the same number. I guess I could put a bar in between. The same number in your numerator and in your denominator. You can do this. It's not hard. There's an activity that you'll be doing this morning, and go ahead and do that, and I have confidence in you.